What's up guys, it's Jess here, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a sketchbook tour. So I've just finished up this sketchbook right here. It's my Stillman & Byrne mixed media sketchbook and I just finished it. It took me about 6 months and you guys love the sketchbook tours. So in this video we are going to be touring the whole book. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know that we do lots of these on here and this is going to be another one that I have yet completed. If you haven't watched the other sketchbook tours, I have a whole playlist up on my channel. You guys can watch those after you watch this video. And we're gonna get touring on this big guy right here. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright, so this sketchbook is the most recent sketchbook that I finished. On the front cover, you guys know I always like to either paint the cover or design the cover, so I decided to take one of my most recent stickers and put it on the cover. I actually never really designed a sketchbook cover with some stickers, so since this was a new little creation of mine, I decided to add him to the cover. And now let's take a look inside. So on the first page, I always like to do a nice little introduction page with a quote and some things to set a positive mood to my books. And on the right, I just wrote down when I started and when I finished. And actually, it basically is exactly 6 months that I finished the book. I started in November 18th, 2020, and I finished May 10th, 2021. And if you guys haven't watched the video, I started this sketchbook here on YouTube and I showed how I did this front page here. But this is actually my studio and you have seen this in my studio vlogs. This is just one of the sections that I have in my studio and I write down my contact information just in case this ever gets lost, but hopefully not. And I also added a quote, "I am seeking, I am striving, I am in it with all my heart." And this was a quote that I found by Vincent van Gogh. In this sketchbook spread, I did this one for my patrons. We did some ink techniques doing gesture drawings. So I was just trying to work on some gestures and some action poses. I really like to practice the figure and especially in action because it is challenging. So this is just some of the color emoji pens I used to do this sketchbook spread. And I also thought it would make an interesting composition to place the football player all the way to the right, as if he's running inside onto the sketchbook page. Here was a really fun spread I did with all my Instagram followers. You guys sent me in some things to draw, and a really fun, cool spread came out of it. We have a nice whale, we have a little mushroom here, and he was like actually called an octoshroom. Somebody submitted that and this is what I created. And I also have a video on how I created this. I'll have everything linked below for you guys to see as well. Here we have a fun, cute little Frenchie puppy. I think they're so cute, and I just added him in. This was a continuation of some of the responses that I received. This was a robot that just discovered some creativity, so this is what I kind of thought of as soon as I read that submission. We got some alpaca buddies, we got a grumpy noodle boy, and a cow with a hat. And this drawing was done with only highlighters, so this was just some more submissions and some more things that I received from you guys, and then drawing your suggestions was a lot of fun. Here was a drawing I did from imagination, and this is a painting I did at the beach during sunrise. And this was like a flowy thing that I love to do. You guys see this a lot in my work and in my sketchbook spreads. A lot of flowiness and connected movement is what I usually go for. And this was done with this rainbow pencil, jumbo pencil I love to use. You guys have seen that as well in my previous sketchbooks. And yeah, just something that came out of my head. I wanted to practice a portrait from my mind with some abstract, I guess, shapes added to it. Here's some more practice with ballpoint pen. This is a video on my channel as well. This was just a bunch of different colors and This one is probably one of my favorites. I really love the way the purple one came out. I was using different colors that I normally don't gravitate towards, and purple is definitely a color that I don't normally use, and it ended up being my favorite drawing. If you guys are ever experimenting in your sketchbook, it's really cool to try to grab a color or a medium that you don't normally gravitate towards, and you will surprise yourself on what you will create. All right, moving on to this spread, we have some bright and colorful landscapes I decided to do in gouache, playing around with color. So I really love the magical feel of this one specifically, and you guys know I love sunsets, and here are two little kind of scenes of that. And this was a trip I took to Wyoming, to Jackson Hole, and the Tetons are there, so I just decided to capture my memory of that event in this page. And if you guys see right here, if I zoom in, the mountains themselves have white tops, and just a quick tip for if you ever want to keep white, you can just take your white crayon and really press hard in the area that you want to keep white, and then you can put watercolor over it, and that'll actually keep, since it's a wax-based crayon, it resists the water-based paint, so it actually will skip through that white and leave it white. So that's kind of what I did for the mountains. All right, moving on to this spread. This was the start of my 100 Eyes challenge, and this was actually me finishing off 2020, and I kind of drew this illustration in oil paint of me dancing into 2021, and I really love the way that she came out. She's kind of like in dancing on the street and just in her own moment. So this was an oil painting I did here, and by the way, I gessoed down that page before I began painting on it, just to make sure that the oil paint won't seep through to the back page. All right, so starting off with the 100 Eyes challenge, I taped in a gray tone paper to kind of create an intro page into the challenge, and of course practice some lettering that I love to do. I started off right away with some acrylic paint, and by the way, this is also a video on my channel. You know that I love to do challenges in my sketchbook. I try to do at least one in each sketchbook to improve some skills and just push the boundaries a bit. So here are some different eyes that I started with acrylic paint. Again, transferring the skills into another medium, I grabbed some ballpoint pen and I did a column of eyes in the black color, then I did in blue color and in red. So I just practiced some eyes with glasses, some eyes with a lot of cross hatching, and this is a technique that I normally love to use in my work. So here is just a spread where I practiced them all. Here I used some Bristol paper and I pasted it into the sketchbook so that the markers don't seep through the back. Although this is a really thick paper, I still just in case decided to do it because I like the way that the markers sit on Bristol paper specifically. It's really smooth. So these are some eyes that I used with limited color palettes, which is my favorite, you guys know. And here are some I did with kind of drawing out a random shape and then filling it in with colored pencil as well using limited colors. And down here I just pasted in a tone paper, and then I took just a white pencil and a white ink pen and I drew it in with like black colored pencil. Just keeping practicing and keeping the hand moving. Over here, I just started off with some acrylic paint and just doodling some eyes. I put away all the references and just decided to do something from my head. And in the middle, I also did a series of rainbow eyes during the 100 Eyes challenge. And these are done on little wooden panels, but I inserted these Bristol papers and taped them into my sketchbook, as you can see here. And then I kind of pasted in with little Velcros the wooden panels. So I did these all in oil. I gessoed the panels and then I used just limited color palettes again to create the eyes. And I absolutely love how these came out. This was really fun. I love oil paint and the way that it can blend, but I also wanted to push some abstract shapes and just do the set of eyes a little bit differently. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. So here is the way the rainbow eyes came out. And I also, at the end, challenged myself to do some acrylic paintings on these wooden panels that I found. And these are just scans and prints of the originals. The originals are done on the wood, and I kind of did this like accordion in my sketchbook, which is cool that when you view it, they just go on and on and on. So here, I'm just going to show you guys how they look. This is the whole collection of reptile eyes that I decided to do during the 100 Eyes Challenge. Again, the whole process of how I did these is in the video on my channel, so you can check that out if you haven't already. So yeah, these were super fun and really cool. Actually, I got some suggestions to maybe actually coat them with some resin, so I'll possibly do that. So yeah, these were the reptile eyes, and on this spread, I decided to do some more drawings from imagination with eyes and just using ink. And I just started off with a doodle, and then I let my hand flow and just create whatever, you know, happens. And I've recently been experimenting a lot with some intuitive drawing, so this was definitely a really good start of that. On this spread, I combined some more ink doodles, which these are these crazy lines that are all connected and intertwined that I really enjoy doing. And I guess I was really, really in love with the way I did this one, so I just decided to do something with like a different feel, and just I sit wherever I am. I could be at dinner or I could be at lunch, and I just start doodling, and this can go on for hours. It's my own personal meditation, I'd like to say. So here, just some more doodles that I decided to do with with some gouache. So I was like, oh, I always like to do ink doodles. Why don't I try to do some gouache doodles? So this was a combination of that. Here are some more drawings of figures that I did with pencil. This is also a video here on YouTube. A little bit more imaginative and just practicing them as well. This is kind of like a whole scene, and I really love the way this girl came out with her cat. Kind of reminds me of something that, you know, you come outside and you do some thinking out on the steps and you just look up into the clouds and zone out. This is a study that I did from life. I took a trip to do some snowboarding in Squaw Valley, and this was actually the view outside my window in my hotel room. And you guys know I love capturing my views. Basically, who needs a camera when you can just paint in your sketchbook, right? So this is what I did from life, and the trees were so, so beautiful. I recently moved into the south, so I'm always by the beach and I see warm weather, so it was really beautiful to see the trees with full of snow, and it was just gorgeous. Here's another study that I did from the lobby of that hotel. This was at the resort, and it was a really, really musky, gloomy day. So I just tried to capture that with these colors. And on the right here, some more figure studies with, I guess, pops of colors, markers mixed with color pencil. Here is a spread, and guys, I have no idea what was happening in my head, but again, I wanted to just doodle from my mind and create something that I don't normally do. So I just drew a bunch of things. There's lots going on here, and then I remember not really liking something, so I just started painting it in with some watercolor. But I was into this green color that I received from Daniel Smith. I found this like darker green color, and I really thought that it would be something different that I can use in this spread. I like this guy right here, so just practicing again figure drawing, ink, and watercolor. And I wrote, what is going on here? Because I really don't know what is going on here. All right, this was some watercolor gesture painting that I did. Also video here on YouTube. These are lots of different action poses that I consistently try to practice. When I went to art school, I was always practicing from life, and I still think that it's a very crucial aspect to practicing my skills. But when I'm not able to practice from the model from life, I like to find some nice reference photos and practice drawing or painting the figure in my sketchbook. Of course, it's always better in person, but I also think that as long as you're practicing, you're on the right track. Here are some more of the gesture drawings. I really loved practicing with watercolor, and after practicing this spread, I do feel that they have improved, and I was actually focusing on more of the different values that you see. So there's a light value, a medium value, and a dark value. And that's a really great tip to creating great dimension in your pieces, is to have different values of the actual shade. All right, this is a friend's house that I love the living room area. And fun fact, we did these abstract paintings, giant abstract paintings together to kind of like put a modern look into the room. And this is the living room that I painted from life. And these are like little ink drawings of different sections of the house. This is the living room kind of facing forward. And then this is like the kitchen dining area. And then this is the panoramic view of the kitchen as well. Some of the recent animal doodles I did with colored pencil. I was trying out the Faber-Castell pencils. I was always using Prismacolors, and these are some of the ones that I decided to try out using the new color pencils that I decided to try. And then I love them so much that I turned them into stickers, and I have them here for you guys to see if you haven't already checked them out in my shop. I did do some little alterations to make the colors pop, but I actually love the way that these came out. So here are some of the stickers that kind of like were born from the sketchbook, and I love turning the stickers, into stuff that happened in my sketchbook. So I really enjoyed these animals, and you guys seem to love them, and thank you everybody who has purchased these. I really, really appreciate your support. So yeah, I just made them a little bit brighter and cleaned them up in the system before I just sent them out to be printed into stickers. But they're super beautiful quality, very lovely luster gloss, and they can actually last on any surface, waterproof and scratch proof. So these are some animals that I did here. Moving on to the next spread, you may have seen this in my studio vlog. I painted a little, self-portrait when I got my wisdom teeth removed. This was a really interesting part of my life, and this was an emergency surgery I had recently, and I just had to get all 4 of my teeth removed, and it was really funny how swollen my face was, so I decided to capture that here. And while I was recovering, I usually like to make myself feel better if something feels off or if I feel down, and I did a little setup of a still life of these clementines, and I put them in this little basket, in this ceramic basket, and then I painted them from life. So this is in gouache, and this was like a lot of mixed media, markers, and ink and color pencils. So as you guys could see, I love capturing things and scenes from life and just things that make me happy and things that I love. And you should do that too. So here is a painting I did for my awesome patrons. This was a full 45, I believe maybe to an hour video on the whole process of a black and white acrylic painting. So if you guys want to check that out, it's up there. And here is some urban sketching I finally made time to do. It was a little while before I was able to sit outside and paint. And these are some of the, like my little neighborhood around where I live and some of the beautiful houses and buildings there. And there's the intercoastal and water area. So I just decided to sit by there. There was no one around. It was a beautiful sunny yet cloudy day. And these are some of the paintings that I created. In this spread, I just decided to, again, intuitively paint, combining my love for portraits and color and shapes and lines. So here's what I did here, and I actually answered your Q&As in this video up on YouTube here, so you can check it out if you haven't already. And here's another limited color palette piece that I did using acrylic. And I actually love the way that this came out. I kind of named her the Emerald Goddess. I don't know, she just looks so cool, and maybe this would be a cool sticker too. But yeah, these are some of my favorite 2 spreads as well. Here is a painting I did in the car. We were on our way to a Mother's Day dinner, and here was the the inside of the car, and I was like, okay, let's challenge myself to draw inside the moving vehicle. So here is what I created, and this was a little plant study that I did also from life outside. And to the last 2 pages of the sketchbook. I usually end with some quotes, but this time I decided to try something that I haven't tried in many, many years, maybe 5 or 6 years, some mixed media collage work. So this is one of my friend's dogs. You guys have seen a painting of her in my last sketchbook. Her name is Roxy, and this is, I guess, like a caricature study of Matilda, my cute fluff. She's my fluffy cat. And I just used a bunch of random pieces of paper and cut them up and decided to make a piece and then sealed it with some Mod Podge and then, I guess, painted over it with some acrylic to add some little details. And this is definitely outside of my comfort zone, something that I'm not used to. And I decided to finish off my sketchbook with that so that I can just test a new challenge and push myself a little bit outside of what I usually do. I think that these came out really cool. I actually love doing collage. It was a lot of fun. It was different. And it was a great way to finish off the sketchbook. That was it for this guy. Another sketchbook is complete. And it was a really, really good one. I'm really happy with the new little challenges and things that I set for myself. And now it's time to take this sketchbook and put it up to the little shelf where all of the other ones live. And I'm really happy to have another one completed and full of memories and things that I love and things that I just put my heart and soul into. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that tour. Another sketchbook tour. You guys love these videos, and I'm happy to share the things that I create in my books. And let me know which one of these illustrations and drawings that you liked in here the most. Be sure to leave a thumbs up. You can also leave a comment. So yeah, say hello down below. Wow, that rhymes. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here, for all your support, for your consistent and continuous love. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And remember that your sketchbook is a place for you to have fun, for you to experiment, and simply draw and paint or doodle the things that you love. I hope you are staying creative. I hope you're staying motivated, and most importantly, doing it all with love. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!